All right, we are recording. So if you guys have questions, I'll check them periodically. If there's stuff that you want or need to go over, you can put them either in the chat box or unmute yourselves and kind of come in and talk about kind of how to get that stuff or how to get things in there. So what we're gonna do is I am going to present here so that you guys can see my stuff here, and we're gonna go to EdPuzzle. So this session is all about using EdPuzzle for content and kind of things that you can do. The first thing that you want to do with EdPuzzle is now EdPuzzle right now is a free tool for us, but it is something that is a paid service. So if depending on how much what you want with it, you could get and have to pay for some of the EdPuzzle for some of the advanced features, but it is free for right now. So what we do is we log in with our Google account. So this is what's with that single sign-on. It makes it so that you guys can use these tools easily and seamlessly with your students. The single sign-on with your Google account is also very helpful for the students, so that the students can get their stuff and log in without having to memorize or get passwords. First thing that you would want to do if you're coming into using EdPuzzle is you want to create a new class. So a couple of ways that you could do this is you could create a class and have just an EdPuzzle for all of your students, and all of your students go into the one EdPuzzle account, or you could have multiple classes for multiple things. So now what you can do is you can either create a new class that is independent of Google Classroom, or after you've created your Google Classroom, you can get your Google. You use Google Classroom to get your Google Classroom. Now, ours, this asks you when you create up your classroom, do you have consent for your students to use EdPuzzle? So one of these things, because students are under 13 years of age, you'd have to get their age or exemptions. We have our students that do their technology acceptable use, which would be the when they sign their acceptable use policy or their forms using the technology. So we use, yes, you do have that. So we've got our students, and so then what we can do is we can invite students to our Google Classroom. They can use this link to join the class, which would give you, depending on which class that you would create for them, you can email the link to them so that kids can get into and create your class. What this does with it is you can get and create content in EdPuzzle that is using videos and formative assessments. One of the coolest things about using EdPuzzle is the fact that you can see who's viewing your assignments, who's looking at your assignments, how much time they've spent in it, and you can give them some real-time information with how you would go through and getting your stuff. So once you've got your classes created and you've got your students in here so that you could see, who all your students are, what your students are that you've invited, what we want to do is go back to our content. Content is the bread and butter of EdPuzzle. And what you can do with this is pretty much any YouTube video or video that's out there you could get. Now, the caveat to this is obviously you want to preview and use all the videos. Just because you find a YouTube video on EdPuzzle does not mean that it's educationally appropriate. They do try to vet and make sure that there's nothing that's inappropriate content, but ultimately as the teacher, you're responsible to make sure that you're getting the content for the EdPuzzle so that you know what you've got for it. Couple of things that you can do is when you're looking at this, you can look at what's the type of curriculum that you're looking for. You can break up and look at predetermined EdPuzzles based on a grade level. So if there's stuff that you're looking for, say we're looking for things under health and fitness, physical education. So we're looking at hockey. So here are videos that have been made, basic rules of hockey, how to play hockey. So this is content that somebody else has already created that they've put in that they can get for EdPuzzle. Now what you can do here is it takes videos from popular sources that you can search to try to find and import or bring in for content for yourself. So EdPuzzle has videos that they've created that you can search for by subject, by content, by grade level. This is worldwide, so you can look at some of the things will be in other languages. So you really have to kind of look at, see where you're going. You can search YouTube. If you're going to search YouTube, you can either do a YouTube search to see what is the content that you're looking for, what are the things that you're trying to come up with. Khan Academy, National Geographic, lots of different things that you can do. For us, you might want to look at or set up and look at some content from YouTube. So let's just say I'm going to do a search here and see what we've got here. Here's Top Gun. So we've got Top Gun. We're going to do the Top Gun volleyball scene for our content. So the first thing that you would want to do is look at, and we could look at this video if I wanted to preview the video, see what happens. And this will give you all of the information for what you've got for the video, so you can see where the video is. Now, the first thing that you would have to do with this is I would want to copy this video to my content. And so where you can go is you can edit this information once you get it. Now, if I just wanted to show my kids this video, I could go right to the assigned part, but that really isn't the gist of EdPuzzle. EdPuzzle is not about just giving them a video to watch. What we want to do is add our content to the video. So our video here is about 2 minutes in length. And so what we're going to do now is if I go back to content and I can see my content, I have this as a video. Now that it's in my content, what I can do is I have a new button here for edit. This is where the fun comes in with EdPuzzle. Right. And so what you're going to do here with this video is you can do a couple of things. The first thing that I can do is you can cut your video. So if I wanted to trim the video, I can shorten the video down. If there's information that I don't want to have, I could get the video back to its original length. So once I've got if I wanted to say, I only want a certain section of this 2-minute clip, I could put that stuff in here. Next option that you have is Voiceover. Voiceover is some great information, and this will put an audio track right over top of the video. Maybe there's something that you want kids to pay attention to. There's something you want kids to notice. There's something that you want to make sure that you bring their attention to. Maybe it's a fun fact of where this movie was shot or anything like that. What you would do is find where you would want to be for your voiceover by using your slider here, and you could move over here, and let's just find here. This is, let's see here. There we go. We got one right here. So we're going to do this, and we're going to say that Val Kilmer was played Iceman in Top Gun, or whatever it is. And so then what I've got with my voiceover here now, this will have my audio track that would go right over top of it. So let's go back here so you can see this. We're going to do this, and we're going to say that Val Kilmer was played Iceman in Top Gun. So with the voiceovers, that's going to be if maybe you want to give them something. Put a snippet in there, just get anything of your own. Last or really essential part of looking at, again, what you're playing with here is the timeline of the video. So it's all about where do you want to put the information into your video. There's a couple of things that you can do is we can add questions to our students. And so so right here at the very beginning, if anybody's ever watched this, we're going to add a question here as to why did he say that Maverick crashed and burned, right? And so we can add an open-ended question, and we'll put in here, why did he think Maverick crashed and burned? All right, and so an open-ended question means that the students would be presented with a text box that they would have to put in here. The other option that you have is you're going through here. We could find, we're going to put another one in here, right there. I'm going to pause and go back just a little bit. There we go. We're going to do a multiple question, right? Why, let's put a multiple choice question in here. Why does Maverick keep checking his watch? Right, and I got to spell it right here. So let's get this in here. Why does Maverick keep checking his watch? So what we can do here with this is you've got your options here. He has a date with Kelly McGillis. There it is. He has to go to work, and we can add another option here. He is picking up Chinese food at 6:15, right? And so we've got here, so that's what he's picking up Chinese. Now, what you've got here by default, your green is going to be what's your correct answer. Red boxes would be your incorrect answer. So you can change and say what it is. If maybe you have more than one correct answer, you can have multiple check boxes that you've got here, and you could save your questions here. And so what this does is when you've got this is it puts it all together so that then you can see what is the information that you've got here to continue on with your video. So once we're done with this and we've got our video here, and what we can do here is we've got a couple of spots on our timeline that'll tell us what those spots are that we've got to do with it. So we can look at this for the students. But what we are going to do now is look at this. And let's just say here, I'm going to go down and we'll start this video here. So it starts it.
Crash and burn, huh, Matt?
So it stops right here. Why did he think Maverick crashed and burned? So then I can put my answer in here. If I need to rewatch something, maybe I missed something, I could do the rewatch button. It'll go back to the start to see where it is. I would put in here, he asked a girl out. She said no, right? And so then I would submit that. So this would be where I would go with this. So then once I continue, it would go on with the rest of my video. For sake of time, I'm going to fast forward this here. All right, and so as we get close to this, right, why does he keep checking his watch? We can put in here that he has to go to work. We're going to submit it. So we've got here he didn't get it right. The correct answer was Kelly McGillis. So we're going to continue on to get this. And again, it would go through to get our information on here. When we assign this, so we would assign, obviously you would have your class set up. So I'm going to assign this to my test class. When do I want to assign it? You can schedule assignments. When is it going to start? I can do, I'm going to assign this so that it goes out at 6 a.m. so that my kids have it. The assignment is going to be due, say it's going to be due May 4th at midnight or at the end of the school day, whatever it is that you want to do. Now you have a couple of options that you can do here. I can prevent skipping. Preventing skipping means that your kids have to watch the entire movie or the entire clip. So if you want them to make sure that they've got it and they're not skipping ahead or going with it, you can turn the skipping on or off. And then you also have the closed captions. So if you have students that have hearing impairments or things like that, you have to be very careful with the closed captions, though, because the closed captions would be what the captions are from YouTube. Sometimes those captions are good and correct, and sometimes the captions are not. I'll be honest with you, I've had very little luck with accurate captioning in videos when we do those videos. Once you assign this, it will assign the video. And so then what kids will do is they would know to log into their, they would go to their EdPuzzle account and they would go in and look at and see what is the information that they've got. Here's where I could come in and check the questions and see how are people answering the questions. How did my students answer it? what were the assignments, how did they do with it, so that I could see who got this correct and what are the information for the options. I'm going to stop sharing here. That's a lot of EdPuzzle. Do you guys have questions, or kind of open it up if somebody's got some questions or has some information they want to know, or want to try to work through a particular topic or see something more and play? No questions? Was that
I put a question in the chat.
Oh, I'm sorry. There
okay.
it is.
I just put it in there. I wasn't sure if I worded it clearly or not. For now, distance learning, there isn't a fee. In a typical school year, is there part of EdPuzzle that's free that we can use and then we pay for add-ons? Or is there just a flat fee for EdPuzzle in a typical school year?
So what you can do with EdPuzzle, the free version of EdPuzzle, you get 20 videos. So you have a total of 20 videos that you could do. What you can do with that EdPuzzle then is you would have to manage and make sure that you have no more than 20 videos. So that's if you had different classes, you could do that. So a way that you could get around the EdPuzzle pricing is adding and deleting videos to make sure that you have no more than 20 stored at a time. If you want to do the EdPuzzle where you have the unlimited storage of it, the cost is not right now is $9 a month per teacher. Now, obviously, if there's more teachers that get into or do that, that would be where the costs are. So the way that it does is you get 20 videos for free. So right now you have unlimited, but 20 videos, all the notes, everything that you want when you have got that. So what you would have to do with that is when you get to that 20th video, delete out your first video, or you just manage and make sure that you have no more than 20.
Do those videos get saved then?
No, so they're saved in your EdPuzzle account, but if you have the free version, no. So when you delete a video, you would lose that video.
Okay, so I've been using it and I voiced over a couple that were already pre-made ones, because if you go to that EdPuzzle button,
yep,
they're already made for you and there's questions embedded.
Yep, you can do those, and those you could, if you're using just the stock ones and you're not doing anything like that, you could absolutely use those. What it would do is you would have to take it out of your content, but then you could go back and reuse that stock video again. But if you made anything that was your own content and you deleted that video, your content isn't shared or saved anywhere, right? So
it's not like those stock ones that are.
No, well, once it's your content, you would
because those
you could
are made by.
Yes. So you could make your video public and have it there, but if your content is kind of where they do that is, so people have tried to get around that and say, okay, I'm going to make my video public, then I'll just go back and get it later. Your content is not, what they do is I think it's like a 3-month before they would do that. So the way that EdPuzzle tries to get you is your content, once you hit that 21 video and you go to delete out the first video, you would lose that video of so you wouldn't have that content.
So, but if you make it public and it's in those stock videos, like if I've used those in the past, will those always be there, or do they
No, the stock videos would be there. So if you did make something as a public video for anybody to use, and then you deleted it on your 20 videos, you could go back and pull back from the public, like the public repository.
Okay. I just was curious because I'm like, oh, if I've used it this year,
yes,
can I use that? Like if I jot down what it was or whatever, can I use it the next year, go back in and find it?
Yeah, absolutely could. And so so just where they get you is 20 videos. So that's what the most you could have for the free account is 20 videos. Yes, Kyle, if two teachers were collaborating, so what you would do is you would have to set up two different like EdPuzzle accounts. So you'd have EdPuzzle 1, EdPuzzle 2, and so you would do your 20 videos for the first section of the unit or whatever, and then the second section. And then your classrooms, with some of the things that people do with EdPuzzle is they get very creative with their classroom names. Your classroom name could be the unit that you're working on. So maybe your unit is a book study and all of your videos are about a certain book or a certain topic, or so your class could be main idea and all of those videos are the EdPuzzle main idea class. And so your class name doesn't have to be second period Mr. Egner. It could be whatever you want the class to be. So if you were going to collaborate with teachers like that for the free EdPuzzle, you could set up and say, okay, my 20 videos are all going to be main idea. Your 20 videos could be character development. Your 20 videos could be geometry or whatever it is that you would like it to do. You can create your own, like if you wanted to. One of the ways that you could use it, if you wanted to, is create your own YouTube. Like maybe you have a tutorial video or something like that, and you want to make sure the kids are paying attention to it or reading it. Or maybe you're reading aloud to a kid, like you're reading a book, and you want to ask them questions about what you just read to them. You could record yourself as a YouTube video, and then put your YouTube video up and ask questions about yourself. Like, what did I just say the first step is for multiplication? What did I say the last step was? Or who's the main character? You know, what did Susie just do when her dog ran away? If you're reading a book to doing a read aloud or something like that. So there's a lot of flexibility. Couple of biggest, like the coolest points of this is that you can make it so the kids can't skip the videos and that they have to watch the whole thing. If you are going to do that, what you want to make sure that you do is spread your content out, like your questions or something like that. So you have a question. If you want them to watch the whole video, make sure you put a question at the end of the video. You know, if all your questions are at the beginning of the video, there's not really a caveat for them to get to the end of the video. So if you want to make sure they've seen to the end, make sure you put something at the end for them to do. One of the things that's kind of fun with this, and we'll talk about a little bit later, like from like the emotional intelligence or things like that, is you can hide, you know, Easter eggs or certain things in here like that. Maybe you're going to give them a voiceover of. So one of the things that I try to do is make it fun. Is I'll give kids like a secret word or something like that, and if they can collect the secret words throughout the week, then they can get a prize or they get something. And so you could just at some point do a quick voiceover and say banana, and then what are the 5 fruits that I talked about this week, right? And so then you have somewhere in your speech or your video, you put banana and apple or whatever it is, and you can make it kind of a fun scavenger hunt to make sure the kids are seeing or watching your videos or getting the different parts of it. I think there's a little more value with that than making it that they have to watch the whole video. What I found when they watch the whole video is you can have the video on in the background and just not do any, you know, not really paying attention, and then just go, it'll pause. So the audio will stop and you're playing your video game or whatever. And then you just go back and put your answer your question and then hit continue. So if you do hide the voiceovers in, like if you hide banana and those things, you kind of say it quietly, then you kind of get them to pay more attention. And so I have the rewatch off or force watch off and turn it on to where they can, I'll hide a word or hide something or hide something in there so they can get that content idea.
I have a question, Burke.
Sure.
This has to do with what Beth was talking about. When you do a video and you decide to put it into the public domain, I don't remember what word you use, but you make it public for others to use. Can anybody change it? I mean, Beth said that she voiced it over to use it for herself, but the original video that is put in the public domain, does that just stay as it is?
Yeah, so you can't do any editing or add any voiceovers or add any questions unless you add it to your content. Mm-hmm. So if you take it just from the public domain, your only options just from the public domain would be to assign it to your class, and that's it. You can't do any kind of changes to it. If you want to make any changes to it, what you would have to do is hit the copy button on the video. And what that does is it puts a copy of the original video into your content. Then you can edit the questions, take out the voiceover, add your own voiceover, add your own content to it. And then kind of back to Beth's point, if you wanted to save that, so maybe you got to your 20 videos and you wanted to get it, you would have to reload that content back to the public domain as your video, so that then you could go back if you wanted to get your changes that you made to it, if you made significant changes to it.
Okay, that's exactly what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So right out of the gate, public stuff, it would just give you the option to assign it, and you could assign it. And the big thing though with that is they do try to curate and monitor the stuff, but before you assign anything, make sure you watch the video. I can't stress that enough. There have been cases of videos that's rare, but if you get a video that maybe has a question that's not appropriate or not school appropriate, and you're like, it was in EdPuzzle, that's not going to save you from a conversation with the boss. So make sure that you're watching the videos before you push them out.
Okay.
So, any other questions or other for EdPuzzle? And
I do.
Yep.
I use it with Screencastify mostly for math, and I usually pick a video out of YouTube. Does it have to come out of EdPuzzle YouTube, or can I go to YouTube and I take portions of a video, show that, and then I voice over through Screencastify?
So you could do through the Screencastify if you wanted to do that. The EdPuzzle actually would probably be a little bit easier because you could search for the YouTube videos. So when you're doing a YouTube search on EdPuzzle, if you've already got your video link in the YouTube search, you could copy and paste that link to that YouTube video and post that and search for that YouTube video and get that in there. The advantage of the EdPuzzle doing it, so when you're doing it with the Screencastify and you're recording over your video, you're still getting the original audio from the video. So if I was to record and Screencastify over the Top Gun soundtrack that we were doing there, you can still hear the music playing in the background and any audio that's there. EdPuzzle automatically mutes the video for you so that all you hear is the teacher's voice. So it would make it so that what I say is the only thing that's heard by the students. So that's one of the advantages of doing kind of the EdPuzzle route. Downside to that, for kids to watch the EdPuzzle video, they obviously would have to go to log into EdPuzzle to get it. So what I would say is, with your YouTube videos, if you're Screencastifying and you're recording over YouTube, you could just post it into your classroom, just post it to your YouTube channel, and they don't have to log into a separate step to get it. What you would want to maybe do is think about, where are my kids having to go to see videos? Where are my kids having to go to see this stuff? And if it's something that you have them go into one location, if they have to, I got to go to EdPuzzle to watch this, I got to go to YouTube to watch this, I got to go to Classroom to watch this, that can get confusing for the kids. And so what I would encourage is find, one avenue of getting that. And even if you're not doing your voiceovers and you're just going to share videos with them, you could share the same videos just in EdPuzzle and say, all your videos for class are going to be in EdPuzzle. And this is where you would go for videos. Yeah, Beth.
I can put mine right into my Go Formative.
The EdPuzzle? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's been very helpful because
Yes.
all my stuff is on one place. They have one Go Formative to go to.
Yeah.
And then they can click on the video right there. So it's
Yeah,
really
so
helpful.
GoFormative does link up with EdPuzzle, does have the connectivity
really nice.
for the EdPuzzle, which makes it a very nice thing to do.
Mhm.
Google Classroom is not, so if you put it into Google Classroom, they would have to go to EdPuzzle to watch it.
Yep.
Formative is another one, though, that right now is free, which is awesome.
I pray we
But-
keep it. I
yeah.
love that.
But the Formative does have a price to pay for that too. So we're kind of getting spoiled with a lot of our really
Mhm.
cool features and these cool things that we've got right now. But next year we kind of got to figure out, what do we want to do? What do we want to keep? Because that Formative is another added cost if we go that route. Yeah. Other questions or help or tips? Does anybody need to see me do another one or see something or how to get something going, or what have we got? I think we're good. All right. Well, I'm going to stop the recording for this one and we'll put this up. So if you guys missed some of the other ones, we'll put other recordings out. So you guys have lots of stuff going on. And you guys have an awesome day, and we'll see you around for a couple more of these. All right. Thank you.